Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Bienvenidos. I am excited to be finishing off this season of WGBH Amplifies. I'm your host, Alberto Vasallo, and this is the show in which we give folks in the community an opportunity to give you guys a little bit of a different perspective, different insights on a number of different subject matters. This season, we've talked about Cuba, Venezuela, IBA, what a Latino looks like, and today, of course, we could not ignore World Cup fever hits Boston. I want everybody to give me a hand of applause if World Fever has hit you, because our panel today is a panel of experts, and they're going to give you the 101. I'm going to assume that you understand that soccer is important, but maybe you don't know exactly why it's so important and how big it is around the world. So you've seen the excitement around town, so obviously we're going to get to that because that's what it is. World Cup hits Boston. So I'm going to have my panel introduce themselves. I'm going to start with Caleb. Caleb Durbin. Oh, no. That's a Red Sox guy, right? Sorry. Another Caleb. Caleb, I want you to look right into camera number 2. Tell everybody who you are and who you represent. Right, go for it.
Perfect. My name is Caleb Pongratz. I write for Prost International, as well as I'm the MLS beat writer for Spa Track that covers kind of the online sports database that tracks team payrolls, salary caps, player contracts, and everything in between.
Excellent. Omar, go ahead, Omar.
Albertico, thank you for having us. I'm Omar Cabrera. I'm a reporter. I'm a host for Meeting Deportivo, and I'm also the voice of the New England Revolution in Spanish. But Albertico, to start with Soccer 101, let's start with football instead of soccer.
Oh, that's the first. Yes, strike one on me. Yes. Football. Okay, and no stranger to GBH around here. One of our longtime reporters, all going on 10 years as a GBH news reporter. And your name is?
Esteban Bustillos, as you said, reporter for GBH News.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
For how many years now?
About 10, almost 9 right now, almost 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you started when you were pretty young.
Yeah.
All right.
Still young.
Yeah,
still young,
absolutely.
I think.
We all are on this.
Yeah.
I think Omar's the oldest one on this.
After you.
All right. So here we go. All right. First of all, audience, who's got World Cup fever? Show me hands. Who's got World Cup fever? Show me.
You got a couple.
You got a couple.
There's a couple there.
That is my point. If we were in East Boston or Revere or Lawrence, well, especially Framingham, Everett.
Yes.
Every hand's going up.
Everybody's hand would be going up. So you've just kind of exemplified what. So I'm going to start with you, Omar, because you're my football guy. You know, for the Revolution, as long as I've known you, this is your sport. Tell the audience, give me a perspective on World Cup. And then I want you guys to chime in. Anything you forget. World Cup, why is it so big? Look at camera number 3, and let's tell the audience what the big deal is.
Man, the World Cup, we can talk about the World Cup, about football, La Copa del Mundo, for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and we would run out of time, Albertico, because the World Cup is everything in sports. It's passion, it's love, it's pride, it's everything. It's colors. And you know what? We've been seeing that in Boston. You know, people say the World Cup, if you want to put in perspective, it might compare to the Super Bowl. No, it does not. I was at the Super Bowl this year. You can say the World Cup is 102 games, 102 Super Bowls in one, because it's unbelievable.
All right. So, Esteban, you were in a couple, but let's continue putting perspective. You're saying it's like a number of different Super Bowls. What is the worldwide audience? Let's compare it to the Super Bowl. What do we usually get in Super Bowl numbers, and what are we getting here in terms of some numbers?
I mean, I know like for Super Bowl, it's obviously, hundreds of millions. I think, but for the World Cup, like specifically like the final, that's like the Super Bowl, the big one. I don't think there's any TV broadcast that even touches it, right? And to your point, like, if you go to any of the matches, like the match this past Tuesday, Iraq, Norway, these are not countries, nations that play each other. But it was one of the biggest, most exciting sort of environments I've ever been in for any sort of sporting event. Two teams that had not been to the World Cup in decades. And it is such a huge deal for the teams that make it, especially because it is so hard to qualify. Obviously the field is a little bit bigger this year than previous World Cups, but it is such a huge deal. If you get the deeper you get, the bigger and bigger the platform is, more and more eyeballs, especially, the last final, Argentina, France. I mean, massive numbers to that. So yeah, it's massive,
Caleb, give me some perspective on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've already touched on it, comparing the Super Bowl to the World Cup, specifically the World Cup final. I have the numbers. Going back to last year, Patriots were in the Super Bowl, and there was 137 million viewers, according to broadcasts worldwide. 137 million, right? The last World Cup final, 2022, in Qatar, 3.5 billion concurrent.
Did you say billion?
Billion viewers.
Billion
concurrent
viewers.
viewers.
Okay.
So that's the perspective. It's the Super Bowl, but
Massive.
yeah, it's times 20 at times.
Absolutely.
Times 30.
You know, Albertico, every game feels like a Super Bowl. Like, you know, the game he was mentioning, I was there as well. And you just felt like you were at a Super Bowl, you know, even though it's a first round game. And the awesome part is, like he said, you know, Norway and Iraq, there were a lot of fans from each team. But there were also a lot of fans that were just there to watch the game, just to feel the passion, you know, and it was great just to see the flag from different countries in the world, just, you know, having a great time. And you don't really see that in any other sporting event.
Yeah, and again, for those of you who don't know too much about football, all three of you have been covering. You actually went to we went to one match, and then you covered kind of the environment. We've talked about it, but you were there. I know you were in there. But give me your perspective to an audience that maybe doesn't get that every day or doesn't get it.
Yeah, I think, you know, so the first match, Scotland-Haiti, what was so exciting about it was just, this was like something I hadn't really seen before at any sort of sporting event. You know, for both teams, again, similar to Iraq, Norway, they hadn't been to the World Cup in a long, long time. Haiti since '74, Scotland since '98. And both fan bases were so like friendly with each other and happy just to be there. You know, they weren't, you know, every other game I've been to, like if you go to like Fenway and you're wearing a Yankees hat, you're probably not going to have that great of a time.
Or a Spurs
Next game?
Knicks game, and they get, you know, I mean, that's a good example, right?
You know, it's true. It's true. But like those two fan bases, they were hugging each other. They were cheering each other on from their cars. Like I had never seen anything like that. And again, like just some perspective, if it was Scotland, England, probably a little bit of a different environment. But I think that was just something I'd never seen. You had the Tartan Army coming into Boston Stadium with with the bagpipes playing, you know, and the Haitians just having an incredible time. Similar vibes on Tuesday when Iraq played Norway. You know, the Norwegian fans giving the Scottish fans a real run for their money as the most spirited fan base here in Boston right now. And you know, again, similar with the Iraqis, they hadn't been to the World Cup since 1986, and so much has happened to that country since that time. And so that was just a huge celebration for them. And I think that is just sort of the difference between any sort of other sporting event, even like the Olympics. There's just so much national pride and community that this sort of event builds and brings. Again, with the caveat that depending on which nation is playing which nation. Because you know, if it's Argentina or Brazil, they're not going to be as friendly to one another.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Yes.
I was going to say that this is it's had the premise that this is a game that unites, right? Soccer is the sport, football is the sport that unites. And when you look at the Boston Stadium, like Gillette Stadium, this area, and you look at the fans that we've lucked out. Social media is so upset right now that Boston has all these really, really, really good fan bases. Like you were just mentioning, we have Norway, we have France, we have Scotland.
80 was great. Yeah.
Like, we have some of the best fan bases in the terms or in the opinion of the rest of the world. So seeing them and seeing how the city of Boston has grown to love and appreciate not only just the sport over this first 7-day period, but they're also learning the culture, learning the atmosphere, and welcoming it to a high degree.
And England hasn't arrived yet.
That too.
Still waiting on it.
Or France. Yes.
Scotland's drunk all of the alcohol already.
That's right. Talk a little bit.
You sure you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about that because it's been a fun environment. Let's talk a little bit about that flavor that we've experienced, that world flavor around Boston. What have you seen? What have you seen at the stadium and in the streets of Boston?
I think the coolest thing for me was watching the Tartan Army march from Boston Common to Fenway Park.
Yes, I saw that.
Unreal. Just, again, soccer fans being like, all right, what's baseball? Let's go find out what it is. I was in Boston Common watching it. They marched, 3.5 miles or so? Yeah. They marched 3.5 miles, played bagpipes the whole way there. outside the stadium, I'm talking to some of the fans. One of the fans is like, "Oh, how long is it? How long is the game? What should I get in there?" And I'm like, "Get a hot dog, get a drink."
Fenway Frank.
Yeah, get a Fenway Frank. Get used to it. And speaking to fans when they were leaving, the Scottish fans specifically, they're like, "This is great. Why don't we do this in Scotland?" I'm like, "Why don't we should do more games here?" Like, it
Just
makes sense.
So many memories. It's only been a week, like he said. Albertico, one of the things that stood out for me, I loved it, and I'm glad that we're going to keep watching it, is the row. The Norwegian row. Oh, my God. Seeing the whole stadium doing it together, that was amazing. And they were doing it at the TD Garden on the stairways the other day. So that's been amazing. You've seen all these different things that you normally wouldn't see in any other sport.
Well, you know what? We're talking about it, but let's take a look. We have some video, some from yours, and I want to save yours for a little bit later. So we do have a video, a vertical one, that actually went viral that you took, and we'll set up in a little bit.
My camera guy. My camera guy.
Well, your camera guy. Yeah. But you're the one that posted it
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
forth. Yeah, right? We're going to get to that video, which I'm sure you've seen because it was his team that did it. But tell me a little bit about the B-roll that we're going to be watching because I think it all comes through the eyes, right? Let's take a look at what we have. All right, and you can kind of explain it.
Yeah.
This was your GBH crew?
This was me,
This
at
was you.
Iraq, Norway on Tuesday.
All right, Iraq, Norway on Tuesday. Let's take a look.
On the other side of the field down there, of the other side of the pitch. So, at that time, they equalized 1-1. Erling Haaland would come in, a couple minutes later and sort of steal that lead very quickly. But just, again, so much energy. Again, the Iraqis hadn't been to the World Cup since 1986, literally 40 years, and just so much pride and joy in that moment for that fan base. Something I noticed, something that was really interesting to me, something I didn't really know coming into that game. Large Iraqi American community. A lot of folks came in from Michigan to come see the game, and that was and a lot of them spoke to me just about just how no matter if you're an Iraqi who comes from a Muslim background or a Christian background, if you're from I tried to interview him, he didn't want to talk on the record, but the guy sitting across from me on the train to Boston Stadium once again, to Foxborough, lives in Baghdad. He found a way to get here, and which is something very, very difficult to do for folks who don't know. The visa process to get out of Iraq right now, very, very difficult. And he made that journey to come to the United States to come see.
Was he by himself?
He was by himself, as far as I know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is
but yeah, so I mean, that's just sort of just what this means for folks, especially again for folks from a place like Iraq.
What the World Cup does to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 100%.
Do you have another video?
I think I'm not sure which one they have, but there's
Let's see.
there's some
Before
more.
we get to Omar's video, let's take another look of one of Esteban's videos.
Yeah. I mean, that was really incredible. And I think that's something in general that I would say football culture as a whole, but specifically football culture coming from overseas has that we don't necessarily see in American sports, where it's very organized down to like the chanting, everybody knows the songs that they're singing at the same time, whereas Americans are like defense. That's almost as creative as we get over on this side.
You know what? If you don't know, and I'm going to have these gentlemen talk about it, let's talk a little bit about the Japanese culture and what they usually do. This is a tradition now in World Cup competition. Omar, tell me about the Japanese fans. What do they do?
It's amazing how after every game, all the fans, they stay after the game with their bags in hand, trash bags in hand, picking up the trash, Albertico. The first time we saw that, I think it was like 3 World Cups ago. Man, I was really impressed, and it's become a tradition. And I always say, man, if we all did that, imagine what a better world it will be if we all learn from the Japanese culture. It's amazing what they do.
Yeah, and kind of building off that, I think in their last game they actually handed out blue trash bags. They
No way,
handed
really?
out blue trash bags to anyone entering the stadium. So it was cool. I saw Jameis Winston was also at the stadium as well, helping them out as well. But again, Japan has brought this thing, and they've constantly always done it. Like this isn't like a new thing. Seeing it on social media, seeing them clean up after games, this is just what they do. Every single time that Japan plays in the main stage, they're some of the nicest, cleanest, like they're the best. They're literally the best to interact with.
Yeah.
They want everything to be perfect.
I love it. All right, so I like this part. You've seen this video. You've seen this video. I've seen this video. And I'm going to set up this way. If you haven't seen this video, everybody else has. Because tell me about the numbers before we show the video. This video went viral. What set it up for me? Where was it? And then what happened?
Man, Albertico, this video, I was joking around with my colleagues. It made us famous, right? Because we were at the Fan Fest Friday night watching the USA game against Paraguay. And, you know, like they said, being at the right place at the right time.
Yep.
So our camera guy was at the right place when we saw, I forget his name, though. I know he's already one famous, but I forget his name, the officer.
Yes. Yep.
Right? But we saw the officer, Boston police officer, juggling the ball, and he had the perfect angle, so he recorded it right in the front. And then we posted it. We didn't think much of it. We just thought it was a cool video, and we posted it right away while we were still at the Fan Fest. Man, that same night, maybe like 30 minutes later, we already had like 200,000 views. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then we got home, and I was editing some videos from that night. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was already like 500,000. I was like, no way. That means when I'm going to wake up, we're going to have probably maybe 1 million views. Man, we had like 4 million views that day. But then all together, the cool part was that we started getting requests from all these big outlets. 433 that has 77 million followers. Mm-hmm. We also got a request from Sky Sports, CBS, Golazo, all these big outlets. So between all of them, I think we have about 25 million views.
See that?
More than that.
So it's been
Being at the
crazy.
right place at the right
Being
time.
at the right place at the
So,
right time.
If you haven't seen it, we are going to play. We got the original video taken from Fan Fest. This was great.
There were a lot of other videos, but we
Yeah.
were lucky because this was like
Right
we were
there.
right in the
That's
front.
right.
We were right in the front
All right, so let's take a look. Here is the famous video.
video. Oh, actually, the Boston Police Department actually posted another video too.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
They're
love
diverting
that.
Officers.
Yeah,
I
yes,
love
yes.
that.
This has definitely been like some of the best PR that the Boston
Yeah.
Police have got in years. It's all free, just their interaction.
They're like, this is
Again,
great.
right? This is what the World Cup is
Yeah.
about, right? So yes.
Yeah, I did hear that. Talking to some other folks I interviewed, they're like, hey, this shows the great relationship that, we always get the negatives, right, with our cops and so forth. But this was good. This was great PR, like you said, for the department. They posted it, and then you had other cops doing it as well, like Boston cops. So
To follow up on him, he actually done a few interviews already.
Oh, I love it.
We're actually trying to find him so we can interview him. as
yeah,
well.
he's the most sought after police officer
Yes,
by the media, right?
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what have your coverage? How's your coverage been? What have you been kind of?
So I've been all over. So I did a lot of the warm-up matches, Road to 26 matches. So I was in New Jersey covering. I covered Scotland, Bolivia in the pre-up, and then I also did Morocco, Norway, which Morocco fans they travel really well.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen Moroccan fans yet,
A lot of Moroccans here.
they
too,
travel
Already.
extremely well. So get ready. But the coverage has been good. I've been following Scotland a lot, France a lot, trying to get interviews and speak to fans, speak to players. It's been fun. It's good. It's good to be able to kind of get out of my comfort zone and cover international games where I'm more used to covering MLS, USL, NWSL. So being able to cover the international stage while also thinking of my roots and going, all right, Still cover the women's game. I still cover the 2 men's professional leagues here that are really good. It's great. It's been unreal. I've loved it.
So before we end this show, I'm going to put these guys on the spot and ask for some predictions for the finals and so forth. So, but that's coming up. We're going to tease the audience so they don't go away. But in the meantime, how's it going, my man? How are you? I expect a question from you later. What I want to do is, as we go around, we're going to do that now. Let's give those watching, and I'm going to ask some questions, a little kind of football 101. Lauren, do you know about football? No. Okay, this segment just for Lauren. Just for you, Lauren, we're doing this segment. All right, let's get to it. First of all, most Americans will say, why so much excitement over a tie, especially 0-0?
Yeah.
Because we saw one huge celebration from Cape Verde through a tie, 0-0 with Spain. Was 0-0 or 1-1?
0-0.
0-0. So no goals. Tie, but they celebrated like they won the Super Bowl. Who's going to explain that to the audience?
Sure, I was at the Dorchester watch party.
All right.
With the Cape Verdeans when that happened, and I called it the tie, the draw heard around the world, because I mean this is like it was a win in every way imaginable besides the score for Cape Verde. This the 3rd smallest nation to ever make the World Cup by population, playing against one of the most historically successful countries in the whole sport.
A big favorite to win it this year.
Big favorite to win it this year. I mean, I know historically slow starters at the Cup, but still, like this, no way, shape, or form should this have happened. I think Spain had 7 shots on goal. Cape Verde had 1 the whole game. 11 corner kicks for Spain. So like every stat should have been La Roja is going to win this game easily. Not only did they not win, they didn't lose, but I mean, it was truly, I think, one of the most exciting sort of moments I've ever witnessed as a reporter covering a sport. And like, because we're all supposed to be kind of neutral when we're covering, but I couldn't help.
Same here.
But you know, sort of myself being like, okay, you don't have to win right now. Just take. You're at the 70-minute mark. Just 10 more minutes, and then 10 more minutes after that. And it was so thrilling to see how much that meant to this tiny group of islands off the west coast of Africa. That's what
you know, not just for them. It meant a lot for a lot of people like myself who come from a small country. Albertico knows, from El Salvador. It gives us hope.
Yeah.
It gives us hope, you know, to know that,
make it
that
there.
you can make it there and that you can play well, perform well, just like Cape Verde did. And Albertico, you know, for Spain, it felt like a loss. For Cape Verde, it felt like a win, you know, that game. Not only that, you know, to me, it was really special because I was covering the Cape Verdean national team the week before. They were here in New England. They were actually staying in Boston. Then they played in East Hartford that weekend, and then they had a big standoff in Rhode Island. So I covered them. I got a chance to interview their captain, right? And it was awesome because that was my second most viral video so far, you know? So just to see them play, and, you know, I felt like, wow, I know these guys already. Man, it felt amazing because I was so rooting. Like he said, you know, we're supposed to stay neutral, but I couldn't help it. I was like so rooting for them.
But let's explain a little bit of how the tournament plays out. So Lauren is hearing that and say, okay, but what does 0-0, why so happy? What does it mean? Does it mean that both go on or whatever? There's a series of rounds, right?
Yeah.
Let's explain to Lauren how this first round works, right? There's 4 to each group. Each team has to play each other, right?
Yeah.
And then what does a 0-0 tie mean? How does that really shape up into who advances or not?
So going into that, so group stage, it starts with the group stage. You play your 4 games like you mentioned, and the top 2 teams automatically qualify to the knockout stages. That's how it works in the group play. However, if you are one of the 8 best third place teams, you also qualify. So with Cape Verde getting a tie against arguably one of the number 1 teams in the entire tournament, they have good odds of qualifying for the knockout stages.
But how does that work? Does it work with points?
So when you win a match, you get 3 points.
Right.
When you tie a match, you get 1 point, and if you lose a match, you get 0.
All right, so Lauren, so you get 3 points for each victory, but a tie does give you 1 point. So both teams get 1 point. So that's why a tie is a good thing for a team like that, especially when they're playing a Brazil, an Argentina, or Spain, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it works. Obviously, a loss gets you nothing. And then at the end of those 3 games, it's whoever has the most points advances. Now, the next round, not this one, it's win or go home.
Correct.
Correct.
Right? You get eliminated.
Round of 32.
So that's why the pressure mounts up. And that's why you don't have ties there.
Nope.
You go to what?
Overtime first.
Overtime first. And then what happens if they're tied after overtime?
Penalty kick.
Penalty kicks.
Exciting penalty kick.
That's the penalty kicks. That's what we get. Because I've had people saying, well, where are the penalty kicks coming in? When is that coming in? It's in the next round.
Next round.
Next round.
Yes.
For those who that's where the excitement builds in, right? You mentioned it. I think more teams this year, right?
Yeah.
48.
Traditionally, how many teams in the past and how many more this year?
I think was it 32 before?
32
yeah.
usually, now it's 48, so it's an expanded format. It's the first time it's an expanded format. Additionally, it's the first time that 3 nations have hosted at one World Cup.
Yeah.
So this is a huge change. Going off of that, Qatar 2022, like I mentioned earlier, they had the record for 172 goals, I believe, in 64 matches. Right now, we're through 24 matches. There's been 75 goals.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're on par to smash that record.
Breaking a lot of records.
We're
Yeah.
additionally, another record, the Scotland game, like you mentioned, loudest in-stadium moment in history.
Wow.
125 decibels during
Wow.
Scotland's national anthem.
Incredible.
Yes, I saw that. At the beginning of the game, right? They were all singing the flowers,
Yeah,
song, right?
the
Yeah.
flowers. Oh, yeah. I love it now.
Yeah, and I will say I think there has
Gotta
been
learn
sort of some hand wringing around like the expanded format, but like to the credit of a team like Cape Verde, showing that those smaller teams
They can hang.
They can hang. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen every time. Even something like where you have a result like Iraq Norway, like yes, where that obviously Norway was a more talented team and they're going to win, but when you get on the pitch, you don't know what's going to happen at the World Cup, and I think that's what makes sort of the expanded field work so far. If FIFA wants to go further, who knows? I think maybe 48 is a good thing to keep for the moment.
I definitely like it. I like the expansion. I think it gives smaller teams the opportunity to play here.
Yeah.
And like you said, teams like Cape Verde, they've shown that they can hang with the big boys. Other teams like Egypt, I wasn't expecting Egypt to play so well. They played really well the other day. So we've seen a lot of teams that people didn't give them a lot of chance. Panama played well yesterday too. I thought they could have definitely won that game. So there's a lot of small teams that are playing really well in this tournament.
All right, so again, for those like Lauren, who's going to take notes, give me who you would consider the 5 powerhouse teams, five traditional teams, because I think it gives her an idea of 5 powerhouse teams and then some of the underdogs. So that when she sees, she's like, oh, this is a team. All right, give me your 5.
I would go France,
France,
Portugal,
Portugal.
Argentina, Spain, England, and that's 5. Yeah, that's the 5.
You didn't put Brazil in there.
No.
Yep, all right.
Not right now.
All right now, okay. Omar, look at the camera. Give me your top 5.
All right, I'm with Caleb in all of them, but I would switch. Instead of Portugal, I would actually put Netherlands in there.
Netherlands
Yes,
is a top
I would
team?
put the Netherlands in there. Yes.
Very
Yes.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, similar answers. I would probably say Netherlands, France, England. I instinctively want to be like Spain, but after seeing the Cape Verde game, I don't know. But I would let's say Spain, and look, it's hard to not say Argentina. I know it's going to be Messi's last dance, but as good as he looked in that first match, it's hard
It's hard to
pick against
repeat. It's hard to
Yeah.
repeat. Too.
Yeah.
All right, so, but what a lot of our viewers are probably asking as well is, what about USA? They start off well. Where do they look in the rankings? Are we in the upper echelon, lower, middle? I mean, where do you guys see this particular team?
Alberto, I would put USA, what I would call the dark horse teams. Dark horse teams. USA, man, they look great the other day. Man, as a fan, I was so excited because I was expecting them to win that game, but not the way they did. Now it gives me hope. I'm like, wow, you know what? This team can go really far. But let's hope how they, what they do against Australia now.
Like I think their goal total matched their goal total or exceeded their goal total for the entire World Cup.
And they
in that
look
first
great.
game. Yeah.
Oh man, they look great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this USA team is arguably probably the best in their history. However, as an American, I personally don't think that this USA team has what it takes to win the World Cup yet. The U.S. soccer system really started 30 years ago when we hosted the World Cup in '94.
Yep.
We got that hosting bid because FIFA essentially said, you need to create a professional soccer league, and then we'll give you the rights to host. And they went and did that. We've gotten 30 years of development for soccer in the United States. It's happened. However, I think we still need about 20, maybe 30 more years to get to that. To get to that.
I don't have 20, 30 more years.
To
Maybe
get to
Lauren does.
to get to that championship echelon, I don't.
Sandra and I don't have that. You want to wait 20, 30 more
He's
years?
asking you for patience.
Being,
You won't be able to go to the game, Sandra.
being realistic, this U.S. team could make a run. However, this team's expectations is the quarterfinals. This team is not
So
expecting.
you say maybe quarterfinal.
Quarterfinal is the expectation. If you don't reach the quarterfinals as a host nation in the World Cup, that's a disappointing tournament.
I agree with that.
However, if they do anything more than that, that's a bonus, in my opinion. Okay, the U.S.'s best finish at a World Cup, I think we finished 4th in 1930, the first iteration of the World Cup. Okay, there were only 9 or 8 teams in that edition. Okay, now there's 48. So, looking at the bigger picture, the U.S. has grown monumentally. However, it still needs to grow.
Compared to the rest of the world.
Compared to the rest of the world,
still have
we're
a long way to
still
go.
very behind.
But I still put him as a dark horse.
Yeah,
Albertico.
it's still a dark horse.
And
Again-
especially because they're going to play almost certainly. I would be shocked if for some reason they played in Canada or Mexico. Every game is going to be on their soil. And like talking to American fans, that means so much for American fans
Oh,
Yeah.
for
to
sure.
have a World Cup matches on American soil. Huge home field advantage for the Americans. So, and again, once you get on the pitch, who knows what happens?
Exactly.
All right, so again, for those who don't understand soccer, how could you tell from watching a game who's the clearly better team? For example, if I'm watching an NBA game,
Yeah.
by halftime, I've got a good idea. You know, scoring, I could see. Football, who's dominating the offensive line? You could see these
The other
trends.
football.
Yeah, the NFL. Sorry, the NFL. You could see this trend. You know, in baseball, if a pitcher is dominating the lineup of another team, or vice versa, they score 8 runs in a couple innings. When it's 0-0, and they say, "Wow," but Spain dominated. What does that mean if you're watching the game?
I think it depends on how you look at it.
Okay,
Because
teach us.
so for me, I also coach. I coach for Scorpion Soccer Club in Rentham as well as another one of my jobs. So whenever I watch a game, I view it from 3 parts. I view it as a coach, I view it as a fan, and I view it as a player because I've done all 3. Seeing that different perspective and seeing the game, you look at possession stats, you look at chances in the offensive third. You also then counter look at that and how many chances are you allowing in your defensive third.
Almost like shots on goal in hockey, something
Yes, similarly. However, in soccer, you only need one. We've mentioned this already. Cape Verde having that one shot against Spain. Spain could have 40 shots. They get one that gets in that goal, that's all they need.
By the way, their shot was close.
And it was
Yeah.
close.
It was a good
But
shot. It was a good shot.
Looking at it like soccer is really, it's a game of inches. It really is. And it depends on the perspective that you look at and how your mind opens up. Do you see the angles? Do you see the open space? Do you see the man? Do you see the marked defender? It's all a game of, it's like a chess game. It's really like a chess game. And if you open your eyes to see the bigger picture of all 3, you'll understand the game a lot quicker.
Yeah, and that's what I think is important for Americans. Again, I like the way you put it, because for most of us, we might watch it just guys running around, almost like baseball. If you don't understand the strategy to pitcher and catcher, all you see is a guy throwing
Like a
the ball.
chess game. Yeah. Definitely.
I think it's a little easier too to see in like the earlier rounds where maybe you have some higher ranked teams versus lower ranked teams to see sort of the differences.
Yeah.
Like Norway, Iraq, very clearly early on I was like, "Dadgum, Erling Haaland is fast." and you know,
And big.
Right?
you could see it, yeah. And he was putting pressure on the ball and on Iraq's defensive side. And they just sort of didn't know what to do with.
That's what led to the second goal.
Yeah, that was a guy that big and that fast. So once you get to the later rounds, then I think that's where sort of the game within the game becomes even more crucial.
Yeah, I
When
agree.
it's more evenly balanced teams.
Balanced teams. Yeah. More teams that balance.
If you take a look at Germany Curacao, okay, that game just happened. Germany won
7-1.
7-1.
Yeah.
It was 1-1 at a point.
Yeah.
Curacao scored on their one chance, but they got outshot 22-1.
So
And
you're watching, you're seeing the
You
ball on the other end.
Yeah.
you see it, and you're like, all right, like Germany's clearly the better team, but all it takes is one. That's the perfect. Obviously, the game didn't go the way Curacao wanted. However, that's a prime example of, all right, they only need one. It's 1-1. All right, it's a whole new game. And then pinball. Then it's 7-1.
Albertico, is to kind of follow up on that. That's another great moment from the World Cup. Even though people will look at the score 7-1 Germany, but man, that goal I'm gonna remember forever because you know what? I was so happy for Curacao scoring the goal. They celebrated like they actually won the whole championship. You know, just to see a small island, a small country of 150,000 people playing against the giant. You know, and actually, like he said, tying it at 1.11. That was amazing to see. So, yeah.
So we're going to be wrapping up in about 5 minutes. But before we go, remember, I'm still going to ask for your
Predictions?
predictions.
Okay.
We're going to leave that right almost until the end. So again, if you were to suggest some key games
Ooh.
in the next coming up, you know, I know this. Remember, this is when we tape this. It's actually going to air a little bit later.
Sure.
But what are some of the key matchups? For example, I know that Revere and East Boston is waiting for Colombia versus
Portugal.
Portugal.
Oof.
That's Saturday on the 27th.
Yes.
That's going to be watch parties. I mean, the
They were watch parties last night, and it was at 10 o'clock.
exactly. What are some other key matches between the next week and after to really put down in the calendar and see?
I think the last local match, Norway-France,
Yep.
is going to be, I mean, those two teams have done very, very well early on. Two big stars, obviously Mbappe, Holland on the Norwegian side. That's going to be a huge match with huge implications going forward, especially in that group.
Everyone put that game on their calendar. When the schedule came out, everybody was, we have to go see that one. Another one for me locally is England versus Ghana. I think that's going to be a great game, too. A lot of people are talking about France and Norway, but I think England versus Ghana is going to be.
Why that?
It's because, to me, Ghana is probably the best African team right now, in this tournament. And then you have England, who's one of the favorites, the team that invented the sport of football, right? So it's going to be a huge game. And I really think Ghana is one of those dark horses teams that can go really far in this tournament.
That's awesome. Interesting. How about you, Caleb?
Historically, Ghana is a really hard team to play against. For me, I'm going to go Spain, Uruguay. I think that is a game, now that Spain's dropped points, I think Uruguay beat Saudi Arabia, I believe.
No, they tied 1-1.
They tied 1-1.
Yeah.
So that implications of that match is going to be monumental. And that's a dark horse team against one of the world's best.
All right. Now we come to the moment of truth. Prediction time. Okay, now in truth, we're taping this a week before it actually gets posted. So, you don't have that much of a sample size that if we were doing it a week from now. Okay, I'm going to go from you, then you, and then you, all right? Look at the camera and tell me, who do you see in the finals and who do you see winning?
My heart would like to say Mexico. I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry, Sandra.
Yeah. I'll say I would love to see a final that has France. They're staying locally. They obviously look very, very good. It pains me to say it, but after watching them yesterday, I think England looks really good. England looks very good. That's going to be. I think they're going to be tough to face. So, France-England final would be kind of cool. England's been 60 years since they've won it. Although I think England winning in America on the 250th anniversary of our independence would. I think there would be some problems with that.
Wow, that would be. Well, it'd be interesting. It'd be fun. It would be fun, right? I mean, England winning on our 250th anniversary.
Yeah.
So England, France. You see England doing it?
I would lean France.
Oh, you
England,
lean
France.
France.
Yes.
Now, wait. I want to be clear.
Yeah.
You think France will win, or are you cheering for France to win?
I think France would win.
Okay.
I'm not. I wouldn't necessarily be cheering for either of them.
Okay.
So yeah.
How about you?
Albertico, so, coming into the tournament, I thought it would be France versus Spain. But after seeing, yesterday was the end of the first matches for every team. So we got a chance to watch everybody play already. And to me, that's the one who stood out the most, and it was expected, was France. France, to me, has the most complete team. They actually can start like 3 teams from their bench.
Really?
That's how good, that's how deep they are, right? That's how deep.
France. What's the final? France.
So, no, I had France versus Spain, but you know what? After seeing England play in their first game, I think there's a big chance it could be France versus England, but I think France will win the final.
Okay, France. All right, Caleb.
All right.
Take us home.
Yeah, I don't.
Lauren, listen to this.
I don't have France or England. I have Portugal defeating Netherlands in the final.
Wow.
Hey.
I've got
Even after yesterday?
even after yesterday. People that understand the game at a larger landscape
Yeah.
knows that Ronaldo is not the reason that they dropped.
That's
the
fair.
points.
That's fair.
I think Portugal, Netherlands in the final, and I actually have a third place game as well. I have Morocco beating Spain.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That would be a great third place game.
We didn't really get a chance to talk about Morocco as I mean, a dark horse isn't
Yeah.
necessarily a right term for them. They are a top 10 team in the world right now. Morocco is,
Morocco
I think they're going to make a deep.
Morocco are legit.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yes, I agree.
This show makes me want to watch the World Cup even more.
Yes.
Yes. Lauren, are you now into World Cup now? Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Thanks to these guys, we are making World Cup fever even hotter in Boston. Well, again, I want to thank you again. I don't reach out, I'll high-five you, pump you. Thank you for the studio audience. Where's my Venezuelan food? ¿Dónde está mi arepa? Carolicious, ¿dónde está Carol? Where is my restaurant over there? Newsfeed Cafe. Prepara there it is, Carolicious. Mi arepa. I want some arepa, all right? I'm coming over there. Unfortunately, this is our last show of the season. We start up again later on. But again, we're giving the folks here a couple months off, and then we'll ramp it up again, hopefully next fall. So I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed hosting this. Thank you for coming by. This is your home place, anyways, right?
Yeah. I'll swing by anytime you need me. It's all
Beautiful.
good.
All right.
Martico, you got to invite us to come talk some Revolution later on because I have a feeling Revolution will be making a deep run this year.
That's right.
Right?
Revolution,
Yes,
man.
sir.
He's the announcer
Women
of
Revolution are gonna
Revolution
be
as
real
well.
nice
Yes,
this year.
absolutely, down the street. All right, Lady Caleb, thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
Hey,
Appreciate
can
it.
you play a little better third base?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a different.
I probably could.
That's the other Caleb. Yeah, you could
Probably could play third base.
Oh, all right, everybody. I'll see you in a couple months. Thank you, Sandra. Wait. I've got to get credit. Wait. Juan Jose Cadenas, dueñas de. ¿Dónde está Juan Jose? He's back there. Juan Jose Cadena. Maddie, where's Maddie? Maddie Geyer. Maddie's in the back. Bill Francis, where's Bill Francis? Sandra Lopez Burke. And of course, I've mentioned her only 5 times before. Lauren Herbert in the house. Thank you, great team, and we'll see you in the fall. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good one. Take care. Good job.